Next, we have Dan Blanton. He joined the faculty at Berkeley in fall of 2005 from the English department at Princeton. He concentrates primarily on modern poetry with excursions across 19th and 20th centuries. Please welcome Dan Blanton.
I was slightly torn between a couple of texts here. The first I considered was a late poem by T.S. Eliot, the last of a sequence called the Ariel Poems, which fit the occasion in at least one way, that it marks in remarkable fashion the closing of summer and the completion of, in this case, a journey by sea. The poem's called Marina. Unfortunately, it also seemed a little morbid for the occasion, which is rather a hazard of dealing with T.S. Eliot. So I think I'm going to go a different direction, though a related one, and read a poem published just a few years earlier by the French Caribbean poet Saint John Perse, the pseudonym of Alexis Léger, which is translated by Eliot and so maintains a bit of that voice. The poem is called Anabas, or in English, Anabasis, referring, of course, to the classical Greek text of Xenophon and the story of the journey of the army of the 10,000 that didn't necessarily end all that well. That text is obliquely imagined here, but Perse does a remarkable thing, I think, captured in the austere style of Eliot's English, of extracting from that source its governing tropes and sort of presiding conceptual vocabulary in a way that also perhaps fits the occasion in the marking of the founding of a new year. I have built myself, with honor and dignity have I built myself, on 3 great seasons, and it promises well the soil whereon I have established my law. Beautiful are bright weapons in the morning, and behind us the sea is fair, given over to our horses this seedless earth, delivers to us this incorruptible sky. The sun is unmentioned, but his power is amongst us, and the sea at morning, like a presumption of the mind. Power you sang as we march in darkness, at the pure idea of day, what know we of our dream, older than ourselves? Yet one more year among you, master of the grain, master of the salt, and the commonwealth on an even beam. I shall not hail the people of another shore. I shall not trace the great burrows of towns on the slopes with powder of coral. But I have the idea of living among you, glory at the threshold of the tents, and my strength among you, and the idea pure as salt holds its aziz in the light time. So I haunted the city of your dreams, and I established in the desolate markets the pure commerce of my soul among you, invisible and insistent as a fire of thorns in the gale. Power you sang on our roads of splendor, and the delight of salt, the mind shakes its tumult of spears. With salt I shall revive the dead mouths of desire. Him who has not praised thirst, and drunk the water of the sands from a sallet, I trust him little in the commerce of the soul. And the sun is unmentioned, but his power is amongst us, men, creatures of dust, and folk of divers devices, people of business and of leisure, men from the marches and those from beyond, O men of little weight in the memory of these lands, people from the valleys and the uplands and the highest slopes of this world to the ultimate reach of our shores, seers of signs and seeds and confessors of the western winds, followers of trails and of seasons, breakers of camp in the little dawn wind, seekers of watercourses over the wrinkled rind of the world. O seekers, O finders of reason, to be up and be gone. You traffic not in a salt more strong than this, when at morning with omen of kingdoms and omen of dead waters, swung high over the smokes of the world, the drum of exile waken on the marches, eternity yawning on the sands. In a comely robe among you, for another year among you, my glory is upon the seas, my strength is amongst you, to our destiny promise this breath of other shores, and there, beyond the seeds of time, the splendor of an age at its height on the beam of the scales. Calculations hung on the flows of salt. There, at the sensitive point on my brow where the poem is formed, I inscribe this chant of all a people, the most rapt God drunken, drawing to our dockyards eternal keels.